Here's something no one's talking about. Trees and land absorbed almost to no CO2 last year, and the consequences of that is not just devastating, but it's something most scientists haven't even factored into their climate models. I mean, just look what's happening in Finland. You see, humans emit a bunch of carbon into the atmosphere each year, but thankfully, about half of all of our emissions is absorbed by the planet's oceans. Forests, soils, and other natural carbon sinks. And carbon sinks being a phrase that scientists use to describe something that absorbs more carbon than it releases. But shockingly, this preprint study found that in 2023, Earth's land as a CO2 sink almost dropped to a net zero, the lowest has been in over 2 decades. And it also showed that because of that drop, and we'll get into the reasons why, the ocean actually increased in CO2 absorption to compensate. And while that absorption plays a critical role, it also presents several dangers, one of which we just saw with Hurricane Helene in Milton. Because the more carbon the ocean absorbs, the warmer they become, which then contributes to more and more extreme weather events. And what's happening in Finland is one of the craziest examples of this. Stub. They have one of the most ambitious net zero targets in the world, with aims to reach that target, roughly 15 years ahead of other European countries. But despite cutting emissions by a massive force, 43% across all other sectors, because the amount of CO2 that their forests absorb in particular has declined by a staggering 90% from 2009 to 2022. Finland's net emissions are about the same levels as they were in the 1990s. It is if nothing happened for 30 years. And this paper cited similar declines in regions around the world, like Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia, but most severely affected the Amazon rainforest. Shockingly, a severe drought towards the end half of 2023 caused the region to switch from being a carbon sink, becoming a net carbon source. Now, honestly, the truth as to why this is happening is not fully understood. But 2023 was the hottest year on record, and researchers, at least currently, believe that these declines are primarily attributed to drought, wildfires, and heat waves. Hopefully, what happened in 2023 could be temporary, and we could see a bounce back. And they say it is critical we do, because any hope of reaching net zero is impossible without nature.